Woo-hoo! That's what I'm talking about. And if you saw it on Twitter, you know that I said the real Jeremy Lin is back. Of course, this is PFV, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert, back on the mic talking Jeremy Lin just the way Tracy in the Philippines and Melody Ting in Australia and many others want to hear. So I am back, Melody. The other video is not finished yet, so you were correct about that. I got caught up in more research while I was doing the notes. Look, this was a great game, and I'm talking about the Lakers' 98-95 victory tonight over the Denver Nuggets in San Diego, California, in preseason game number 1 for Jeremy Lin's career with the Los Angeles Lakers. It was also the return of the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant, after sitting out almost the entirety of the 2013-2014 NBA season because of his Achilles injury and then a broken kneecap, I believe was the specific injury that he suffered when he returned after playing 6 games. Lin looked great in this game. I know he didn't shoot the ball well. He was 0 for 6, and he was only 1 of 3 on his free throw attempts, but he played the way that he needs to be able to play to be successful. I said on Twitter, and you can come and follow us on Twitter, CNM J-Lin vid. You'll see it there on the screen in front of you, and you'll see the link in the video description below the video player, where you'll also find information for video highlights about this game and where you can join us on our CNM Facebook group. Lin played the wide open run the offense system that he played so successfully in New York tonight, particularly during, I think it was the second quarter. There was a period of time where it seemed like Lin had about 5 assists in 3 minutes. He was just weaving and dicing and finding guys the way that we as Lin fans knew he could do for the last 2 years in Houston, but which he very rarely got the chance to do, except when James Harden wasn't playing. I love it. I love that Byron Scott is letting Jeremy Lin play the way that he needs to play. Lin finished with 10 assists. That led the team. In fact, it was twice as much as the next person, who was Steve Nash and Kobe Bryant. Each had 5 assists themselves. He played 28 minutes, which led the team. And I also like that Byron Scott went for the win in this game. You don't always see that in preseason games. A lot of times you're just playing guys. You just want to get them out there, give them some run, etc. But Byron Scott wanted to win this game. And this goes along with Byron Scott's entire mentality this preseason and the training camp, which is, we're the Lakers. We've won numerous titles. We're champions. We need to have a championship mindset. We need to play to win. And that's what the mentality that he took into this game tonight. And I love that. I think that's great. And I think the Lakers need that coming off of their worst ever season last year. They need to experience success. They need to experience winning. And I'm glad that Byron Scott brought that into this game tonight. Okay, another couple things. Number 1, Kobe looked very good, particularly in the first half. He's not the same player that he was before the Achilles injury. He's a little bit more ground bound. His explosiveness isn't what it used to be. His jumping and just his leaping ability overall isn't what it used to be. Some of that has to do with the injury. Some of it has to do with he's played the 5th most minutes in NBA history, and he's 36 years old. But he's adjusted to that well. They said during the broadcast that he's playing, quote-unquote, old man game. What that means is you're playing like an old person would. Not a lot of jumping, not a lot of super speed. You just play the game fundamentally sound. Shoot jump shots. Do what you're supposed to do. Kobe's adjusted to that really well. His jump shot looks terrific. He looks good. He was looking to set up other people as the game wore on instead of looking for his own shot. He looked a little bit more worn down in the second half. But remember, Kobe hasn't played in months. And you can't simulate a game in practice. Game conditioning is different than practice conditioning. So it's going to take him time to just kind of work his way back. But he looked very good overall. Steve Nash looked fantastic. I said on Twitter again, I can't believe this guy's 40 years old. He looked like a 28-year-old. He really was moving well with explosiveness, with speed, with pace. I mean, he looked energetic, very energetic. But I'm glad that they only allowed him to play 20 minutes. The approach that's going to be taken with Nash this year, and probably also with Kobe, is going to be let him have something left in the tank rather than wear them out. So take them out even when they still look good. Take them out in 20 minutes rather than 25 minutes. That's what Byron Scott did. I think it was an excellent decision. And if Steve Nash can play like he played tonight for this season, he's going to be a tremendous asset to this team. He scored 11 points and had 5 assists in only 20 minutes. He looked great. Great. So I'm really excited about that. Jordan Hill looked terrific. 10 points and 11 rebounds in only 19 minutes. Jordan Hill has lost weight, and it shows. He's more energetic. He's also someone that's been prone to a lot of injuries, and maybe having less weight on his body will help him out. Ed Davis was fantastic in this game. 12 points on 6 of 7 shooting and 4 block shots in just 12 minutes. I said, I believe on Twitter, maybe in a video, I was very excited about Ed Davis, the signing of him. A lot of people don't know him. He's been kind of under the radar, but he has excellent talent. He's just somebody that hasn't quite found the right team and the right spot. But tonight you saw a glimpse of what he's capable of. He's pretty athletic. He's a quick jumper. He's a smart player. He's a skilled player. And I really think he could make a big impact this year. And I think he could find a long-term home with the Lakers and be a key contributor. So I'm very excited by that. Julius Randle, the rookie, 10 points and 8 rebounds. You saw some nice flashes from him tonight. Really excited for that. Jordan Clarkson, 14 points and 5 boards. Also some really good things. Now, Jordan Clarkson and Julius Randle, at times during this game, they did not give the ball to Jeremy in specific moments and spots where they should have. However, they were better about it in the second half than they were in the first half, which means the coaches probably said, hey guys, slow down a little bit. You're really excited because it's your first game as a Laker, first game in the NBA. Remember, Julius Randle's only 19 years old. But they started to make the adjustment. So Jordan Clarkson is somebody who has a very good ball handling skill level. He is going to want to handle the ball at times and not give it to Jeremy. And I know that for a lot of you guys, that's like, oh no, it's James Harden part 2. And Julius Randle actually does that at times too, when he'll get the defensive rebound and then he wants to bring the ball up instead of giving it to Jeremy. For now, I would say bear with it. These are rookies. It is their first game ever. Let's give the opportunity for the coaches to talk to them, point out things on film. I think that they will be held more accountable than what we saw in Houston, particularly with James Harden and Kevin McHale. There will be times, though. There will be times where Jordan Clarkson will handle the ball at the top of the offense rather than Jeremy. And there's actually going to be times where that's okay, and it will work. And the reason why I say that is Clarkson's more explosive than Jeremy is. And what that means is he might be able to beat his man off of the dribble easier than Jeremy can. Whereas Jeremy might need a pick. He might need somebody to come up and set a screen for him to get by his man. And Jordan might not need that. And that's okay. That gives the defense more to think about. And what then you might see is Jordan Clarkson driving to the basket and he kicks it out to Jeremy for a jump shot. So Jeremy needs to continue to work on his off-the-ball game, which means when he's not the one dribbling the ball, being able to hit the open jump shot, etc. There are several times in this game where Jeremy had the ball and he kicked it out to Clarkson for a made jump shot. So it can go the other way too. Jordan can direct the offense, dribble it, and pass it out to Jeremy. So Jordan needs to work on kicking the ball out, and Jeremy needs to work on making that jump shot, the catch-and-shoot jump shot. Overall, I was just really excited with this game. For Jeremy Lin fans, this is a complete breath of fresh air. I was probably more excited for this game than almost any other game in the last 2 years that Jeremy played with Houston. There were a couple exceptions, like the game against Oklahoma City 2 years ago, where Jeremy had 27 points, or I think it was, and Harden had like 45 or something. And the game against the Sixers last year, where Jeremy almost had a triple-double, I think it was. But this, what you saw tonight, feels like it's sustainable. It feels like this can happen regularly. Whereas most of the time when Jeremy did well in games in Houston, it wasn't sustainable because maybe James Harden was sitting out that game and he was coming back. Or Jeremy was going to disappear in Houston's offense. Or Jeremy Lin's not going to get to start. Or whatever it is. This feels like the start of something good. And it's very encouraging. And Jeremy's not going to shoot over 6 very many times. He's just a better shooter than that. So I'm thrilled. I'm really pumped up about this. This is good. Again, I know a lot of you are concerned about Clarkson. I totally understand that. There definitely were times tonight where he looked selfish and he wasn't playing the right way. But look, he's gotten a lot of hype in the preseason and in training camp. You're a rookie. You've heard a lot of hype. You want to go out and show everybody what you can do. But again, he was better in the second half than he was in the first half. And I'm sure the coaches will talk to him some. And I will tell you this, and this is actually kind of a good thing about the way that Clarkson and Randle played tonight. If those two guys play like they did, in terms of they're playing a little too quick, they're not making good decisions, then Byron Scott is definitely going to want Jeremy on the floor because he's going to want somebody out there that can stabilize that unit. In other words, if Clarkson plays like this, Byron Scott's not going to trust him to run the offense, which means Jeremy's going to get more minutes because he's going to need Jeremy on the floor to have things happen properly in terms of the offensive movement and etc. But the coaching staff and the other players, including Kobe Bryant, who is the leader of this team in terms of the players, will let everybody know Jeremy Lin had 10 assists, and you need to let Jeremy Lin have the ball. And so I'm not, yeah, we all had flashbacks. We all have the Houston PTSD, as we discussed before. We don't want to see things happen the way they happened the last 2 years, but this is a different situation. You heard the announcers talking about it. Everybody in the organization likes Lin. Now, at one point, Bill McDonald, the announcer, did say that Jordan Clarkson's being looked at as the point guard or whatever soon. I think Jordan Clarkson's probably going to be better as a shooting guard than as a point guard, based upon his mentality. He's a scorer. Now, there are point guards like that, somebody like a Russell Westbrook. I think Jordan Clarkson is probably going to be better as a shooting guard because he is as good as he is dribbling and he can pass. His talents are probably best exploited as a scorer, which is more of the shooting guard's role, or at least traditionally it is. So I would lean towards that with him personally. Okay, what else is there to discuss from this game? Sorry, I'm just kind of quickly making this, so I have notes all over the place. Ed Davis and Robert Sacre are two guys that definitely seem to have good chemistry with Jeremy already. You saw Jeremy find both of them, I think, on multiple times for assist. And they both are conscious of setting picks for Jeremy. So when Jeremy was in New York, he was great working off of picks with, for example, Tyson Chandler. You're already starting to see some of the same rapport or chemistry with both of those players. And if I had to pick one over the other, I would say Ed Davis. You could see Ed Davis is in tune with Jeremy's game and what Jeremy's looking to do. And that's really, really important. We know we've seen multiple times where Jeremy would have great plays and like giving the ball to Omer Asik, and then the play couldn't be converted. Maybe Omer didn't jump quick enough or whatever it is. Well, Ed Davis is much more explosive jumper and a quicker jumper than Omer. So him being in tune with Jeremy this early is a very good sign for both guys. Because again, it's not just Ed Davis helping out Jeremy. It's Jeremy's going to help out Ed Davis get some easy baskets. I mean, Ed Davis got at least 2 dunks tonight, point blank, from Jeremy Lin's passes. So that is a really, really good development. You must have a good relationship with your big men if you're a guard, particularly a guard that plays a game like Jeremy Lin does, in order for everything to be able to work. The other thing that we saw tonight, and we already know this, Jeremy is a 5-on-5 player. He's not somebody that's going to dazzle you one-on-one. That's not his game. For him to be most effective, it's got to be 5-on-5 because he can make the entire team a threat. He can make guys who wouldn't usually be an offensive threat into a threat. If they're 3-point shooters, they're going to get involved. This is why when Jeremy was able to take second-string guys or third-string guys in New York, and the entire unit became effective. It allowed the Knicks to get to the playoffs when the superstars were hurt. Amari was hurt. Carmelo was hurt. That's what Jeremy Lin does. But you have to let him have the ball in his hands. And you have to let him do it his way. You need to spread the court out. You need to have the men have a lot of open court for Jeremy to work with, so that the defense has to cover a lot of ground, because Jeremy's going to beat his man often. Someone else is going to help, and Jeremy's going to know where that guy is open because the defender left. That's what makes him him. that's a big essence of Linsanity, is that dynamic at work. And we did see that tonight. There was, again, that bottled little piece of it in the second quarter and later in the game as well, in the fourth quarter, particularly when he had that lob with Ed Davis for the dunk. That was fantastic. Jeremy thinks the game extremely well. It's a lot like Steve Nash. Steve Nash in his prime. Steve's a little quicker than Jeremy. He's a better shooter than Jeremy. But the ability to get everybody involved is very similar. And it's just another great thing why Nash is there. That's going to help Jeremy tremendously. You also saw Kobe talking to Jeremy in this game when one of the players was shooting a free throw. Learning from those two guys is going to help so much. And they're mature. They will keep the other guys in check in a way that I don't think we really saw in Houston. So a terrific win. This was a huge win. It just not only just a win, but just a terrific performance. This is extremely encouraging if you're a Jeremy Lin fan. This was just very, very encouraging. Also, in a couple other things, Jeremy Lin was ranked number 100 in the NBA by ESPN. That means that I think there's something like 400 and, I don't know, maybe 430 or something players in the NBA, and they're saying Jeremy is basically in the top quarter of all players. He definitely has that ability level. I don't think he really had the opportunity to show that in Houston, but we know he has the ability. So there are a lot of people laughing about that today on Twitter, but tonight was a good example of why he could earn that ranking. And Nick Young, I believe, was ranked number 150, and Patrick Beverley was ranked number 103. This whole thing with Jeremy Lin doesn't want to call Nick Young whatever swaggy, that's just silliness. I mean, Jeremy's just having fun with that. That's nothing. Most of you, of course, know that already. Look, this team, if it's got to stay healthy. I mean, Wesley Johnson knee was acting up tonight too, or he dinged his knee or bumped knees with somebody. There's already 3 guys out, although Xavier Henry said during the game that he will be returning to practice, I think even as soon as tomorrow, which is huge. They need him back. If the team does stay healthy, or relatively healthy, this team is going to cause problems for other teams because they're deep. The second unit is explosive. They don't know what they're doing yet. The chemistry is not there. The rookies are still figuring it out, and it's going to take probably the whole year for that. But they can score easily. They're athletic. The second unit. You got Lin back there running the show if he's allowed to do that. So they're going to be in, or they should be in, most of the games as long as they're healthy. And they're not going to match up with the tippy top teams. There are some deficiencies, but because of the depth and the quality of the talent, people like Kobe, people like Nash, they should be able to do pretty well this year. I can't give you an exact number of games, number of wins, but again, if they keep their health, I do think they're going to have a real shot at chasing a playoff spot in a very, very competitive West. It's not going to be easy, but they're going to be in a lot of games. They're going to be in a lot of games. I guess that's about it for now. Again, sorry, this is a little slightly disorganized because I'm just doing it quick. And I got to get myself back into practice in terms of how I format everything. I faded out on Twitter right at the end of the game because I don't know, the Twitter server or whatever just went out. Somebody's calling me right now. I guess it's John, but I'll call him back. John is my brother, JDV. I'll call him back after this video is done. But that is about it. Look, very exciting, encouraging start to Jeremy Lin's Laker career. He plays like this, trust me, he's not going anywhere. They're not going to let him get away. And this is very, very good to see. Okay, the next game coming up is, I believe, Thursday, October 9th, which is 3 days away here in the United States. I don't know the exact time of that. It'll be, I don't know, probably 10 o'clock Eastern time or somewhere there's about, which means it'll take place early on October 10th, Friday, if you're over in the Philippines or in Taiwan or over in Asia. But good stuff. Jeremy looked happy. He looked comfortable. Now again, he probably wasn't thrilled with some of the stuff that Rando and Clarkson were doing, but he wasn't upset. Listen, Houston is finally in the rear view mirror, and things are looking good here. So very, very, very good to see. Your comments below, thumbs up, thumbs down. Again, we encourage you to come and join the Conservative Media Facebook group, which has over 3,500 members. And we encourage you to come and follow us on Twitter, where we have over 2,000 followers at this time. Once again, I am PFE, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. Fantastic stuff. Also, just excited to say, really happy at all the new Jeremy Lin sites that are out there. I can't think of them all off the top of my head, so I don't want to say any of them because I don't want to forget any of them. There's about 7 different sites. Many of them are new, and they're doing great stuff. I know most everybody that's behind each one of them, and if you're a Jeremy Lin fan, check them out. Again, come and hit us on Twitter. If you have any questions about any of them or what any of them are, I can tell you them easily over there. So whatever you want to find out, any information that's going on, you can find. And a lot of good people are working hard to staff these sites so that you can get quality information, and you can get, like I said, you can get whatever you want and any information that you need so that you can follow Jeremy and be able to be armed with the statistics and the truth so that you can take it out to other people that maybe don't know as much about Jeremy or doubt his abilities or whatever. So that is it for now. It is currently 1:16 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States, early on Tuesday, October the 7th, 2014, which means it's 1:16 p.m. on Tuesday, October the 7th in Taipei, Taiwan, as well as in Manila, the Philippines, and I think also I would say the eastern part of China, Shanghai and thereabouts. So that is it for now. Great to be back on the microphone. Great to be making videos again. Looking forward to this season. Terrific beginning tonight. Jeremy Lin debuts as an LA Laker, and the crowd was definitely in favor of Jeremy. You could hear there were many people there that were very excited to see Jeremy playing. And Houston is in the rearview mirror. It is all over, and a new start has begun tonight. And I love it.